Hey guys, today I want to talk about welcoming ministries. When someone walks into your church, how do you welcome them and make them feel at home? Welcoming back members who've been away for the last 4 months. I just want to look at a passage that we looked at together in Bible study today. It's Luke chapter 9, verses 40 to 46 to 50, where Jesus uses that word welcome a fair bit. Let me just read that passage. An argument started among the disciples as to which of them would be the greatest. Jesus, knowing their thoughts, took a little child and made him stand beside him. Then he said to them, "Whoever welcomes this little child in my name welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. For he who is least among you, he is the greatest." And Jesus is introducing this principle of welcoming someone as a representative of someone else. If you welcome the child, Jesus says, "You're welcoming me." And if you welcome me, you welcome the one who sent me, i.e. God, i.e. his Father. A friend was talking about how she had just come to Cambridge from another country, and that first impression of going to a church where they warmly welcome her children made her children feel at home, feel so welcome that she felt welcome. Jesus is saying the same thing about this child. You welcome this person, you welcome me. If you welcome me, you welcome the one who sent me. What it doesn't mean is if you've just come out from Bible college, go and serve in Sunday school. That's not what Jesus is talking about. Children in the ancient days had little or no stature, no status. And this comes back to the controversy beginning of the passage in verse 46. They were arguing who was the greatest. For them, the greatest was here, someone who had the status, the position, respected. Jesus finds someone who has the least respect, the least status. All of us who is respected, even in ministry, even in our churches, sometimes we might look down at jobs that we don't want to do. We look at people who clean up things, people who pick up things, people who work with kids. Oh, that is beneath me. Jesus is saying that is not the way to think in terms of status, ministry, position, in relationship to me. So that's the first thing, welcoming of children, someone who has no status, to understand what it means to come into relationship with him. And you would think they would get this. This would solve the controversy, humble them. But then we immediately read in verse 49, "Master, boss, Master," says John, "we saw a man driving out demons in your name, and we tried to stop him because he is not one of us." Verse 50, "Do not stop him," Jesus said, "for whoever is not against you is for you." Now, immediately they see someone who is not one of them doing the things that they're doing, their ministry, driving out demons, and they try to stop him. It says that because he was not one of them. And you see immediately that jealousy, envy of that position that they think belongs to them. They don't yet get it. First of all, there's the welcoming of the child, but secondly, there's the welcoming of the competition. If you looked a few verses earlier, verse 40, "I begged your disciples to drive it out, but they could not." And how embarrassing it is. They could not do something, but this person who wasn't approved by Jesus, who didn't go to the same Bible college as them, who didn't wear the same badge, who didn't go to the same church as them, was doing the thing that they could not do, and they stopped him. And notice as well, there is this parallel with the child who welcomes this one in my name. Verse 49, "He was doing this in your name." It's not about who's in my team on my side of the fence, but extending that welcome to those who aren't in your team, who aren't in your circles. And the disciples haven't yet got it. The story continues further. Verse 51, "As time approached for him," Jesus, "to be taken up to heaven, Jesus resolutely set out for Jerusalem. And he sent messengers on ahead who went into a Samaritan village." The Samaritans weren't Jews, outside of the covenant people of God, and they sent him there to get things ready for him. But verse 53, the people there did not welcome him because he was heading for Jerusalem. Verse 54, when the disciples James and John saw this, they asked, "Lord, do you want us to call down from heaven, call down fire to destroy them?" But Jesus turned and rebuked them, and they went to another village. We started with the child, the competition, but now we talk about someone who is directly opposing them, someone who is actively rejecting Jesus. And the disciples feel rightly that they want to call down judgment, fire from heaven on this village, on these Samaritans, and Jesus rebukes them. Here is a group of people who do not welcome, again that word, welcome, Jesus. Even then, Jesus says, it is not right for us to call down judgment on these people who do not welcome him. The element of welcome, accepting someone who is the total opposite of us, part of that ministry of bringing people to Jesus. Forgiveness, patience, and humility, all these are bundled up with that. But even so, there is a bigger message. We need to rewind and go back to what Jesus says. Remember, the disciples are arguing about who's the greatest, who's up there, who's the most respected. rejected, and Jesus brings this child. And listen again to what Jesus says to them, because there's a clue there as to what Jesus is talking about himself. Jesus, verse 47, knowing their thought, brought a little child. Whoever welcomes this little child in my name welcomes me. See, they're seeing Jesus here. They call him Master. He enables them to drive out demons. He gives them power and privilege and ministry. Jesus says, no, this is not where you welcome me at. You welcome me here, when I have no status, when I'm rejected by others. Big idea of this passage is actually Jesus setting his face towards Jerusalem, where he would be crucified, he would be rejected, he would be hung on the cross. Essentially, he would be going this direction. He would be rejected. You're welcoming me now, but really what I want you to be able to do is to recognize me here on the cross, rejected and despised. Essentially what Jesus is saying to them and saying to us, it's not whether even you welcome these newcomers who are coming to your church, and that's a really big deal. You know, we're so preoccupied with welcoming back the people who are our own. We are not really thinking of people outside our circles, about evangelizing, much less even people who don't even belong to Christ, who are not even Christians. That's one thing. But the bigger idea is Jesus saying, are you even welcoming me? Do you recognize that I am someone who is down here with those who not only have no status, but who even right now reject me? If you can't recognize that this is where the cross is at, this is where you are at in terms of your sin, in terms of your position of God, you will not understand what it is for me to welcome you now when I'm glorified in heaven, when I'm raised up at the right hand of the Father. Well, that's just a quick reflection from today. We had a quick Bible study this afternoon amongst the few staff workers who are at the hospital. We did it on Zoom. Take care and God bless.